Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, starting up any venture comes with unique challenges. Permit me at this point to recognize and appreciate your personal stewardship through your regular meetings with the board. I thank the first DPF board and the pioneer team of staff led by Mrs. Julia Oyet, the CEO, for their steadfast commitment to overcoming the inevitable initial challenges associated with new beginnings. Correct identification of prevailing hurdles was a plus, but formulating appropriate remedies was even more crucial. For it is said that wrong diagnosis is bound to lead to wrong prescriptions. What we are witnessing today, coupled with the growth of the fund, is a prima facie evidence that the team, the board, and management did a good job, both at diagnosis and prescription levels. Ladies and gentlemen, I will also take a moment to thank the contributing institutions for their commendable efforts and consistent contributions to the fund. Institutions have continued to work hard in ensuring that depositors' records are updated in line with the single customer view aspirations. It is worth noting that the banking sector in Uganda has been largely stable despite the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. The contributing institutions have taken a proactive approach to resolve any potentially harmful occurrences in the sector, working closely with BOU. Achieving macroeconomic stability requires a concerted effort of many players, financial institutions taking the center stage. It is through the DPF that stable and sound financial institutions ensure that primary stakeholders, the depositors, retain confidence in the banking sector, especially during uncertain times. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, the management of the DPF deserve a commendation for registering several achievements in a relatively short period. And this is despite the unusual teething challenges faced in setting up an institution from the scratch. The fund deserves a congratulatory pat on the back for milestones that have been achieved to date. I am informed about the cordial working relationship that exists between the board and management. And therein, ladies and gentlemen, lies the secret to success. I dare say that excellent governance of the DPF may have motivated you, Honorable Minister, to renew the term of the current board. I congratulate the board members for being reappointed. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to endorse the strategic plan of the DPF as we can see some of the major pillars in this room. It is vital for the DPF to grow the fund size, to buttress its capacity to respond to any distress that may emerge in the sector. Also, the fund needs to have a substantive dedicated legal framework, given its importance as a backstop of financial sector stability. Progressively, and in response to emerging issues, the mandate of the fund is likely to evolve, as has been seen in other jurisdictions with more advanced deposit insurance systems. Certainly, the DPF will be strengthened in the pursuit of its mandate by harnessing its working relationship with the central bank. Accordingly, Honorable Minister, an appropriate memorandum of understanding is firmly in place for guiding the sustainable relationship between BOU and the DPF. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that the BOU remains firmly focused on creating and maintaining an enabling environment for the financial sector in the country. We shall continue working with the DPF and other stakeholders to develop the financial sector so that it contributes effectively to inclusive economic development and the socio-economic transformation of our country. Let me conclude by once again extending hearty congratulations to the DPF upon this key milestone. Kudos to the financial institutions for their resilience and maintaining compliance with their obligations during these uncertain times. I wish you all good health in this difficult time of COVID-19 pandemic, and please stay safe, heed the COVID-19 containment SOPs, and by all means, get vaccinated against COVID-19. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to invite you, Honorable Minister, to deliver your address. This is written by Professor Emmanuel Tumusime Mutebile, Governor, Bank of Uganda. Thank you.
These are not my remarks, but they are the remarks of the Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development during the official commissioning of the Office of the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. The Governor, Bank of Uganda, the Permanent Secretary, Secretary of Treasury, the Auditor General, the Solicitor General, members of the Financial Sector Stability Forum, chief executive officers of contributing institutions, executive directors and directors, Bank of Uganda, chairman and members of the DPF board, the CEO, management and staff of DPF, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please receive my warm salutations and best wishes for the new year 2022. It's indeed a pleasure and honor for me to join you today at this ceremony when we officially commission the Office of the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, we can all attest to the challenging times we are living in today, to several factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic, which has brought about economic shocks across the globe and impacting economic growth. You're all aware that depositors of financial institutions constitute key stakeholders in the financial services sector. It is for this reason that government recognized this fact and moved to establish a specific entity to focus on ensuring that depositors are not only protected, but also to strengthen depositors' confidence in the financial sector. This is what led to the birth of the Deposit Protection Fund as a standalone institution. The previous setup, where the fund was managed and housed by the Bank of Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks an important milestone in the journey of the Deposit Protection Fund because the fund has come of age and is now able to operate effectively as an independent agency. In the initial stages, lack of sufficient and conducive working space was a hindrance in the operations of the fund. In a special way, please join me in congratulating the Board of Directors of the fund, chaired by Mr. Ben Patrick Agoro, for successfully recruiting a team of professional, enthusiastic, and committed staff who are now well accommodated in the office space we have commissioned today. I also take this opportunity to appreciate the tireless efforts of the pioneer team of staff led by the CEO, Mrs. Julie Claire Olima Oyet, for remaining steadfast and focused on seeing the fund grow to where it is today. I'm aware that starting up any venture always comes with the initial teething problems, but this team was able to weather the storm and still focused at safeguarding the fund to ensure financial sector stability. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to fully comprehend and appreciate the magnitude of the fund, I would like to re-echo a few of the very commendable statistics of the fund. 1, the fund size has increased from Uganda shillings 473 billion in June 2017 to over 1 trillion as at September 2021. Out of the 19.4 million deposit accounts in the financial sector, the fund currently fully protects deposit balances held in 19 million accounts, fully. You know, in the previous times when the banks would collapse, Bank of Uganda would come to Ministry of Finance to pay the depositors. So we had to get money from the budget and pay the depositors. This is now history because more than 90% of the deposits are covered by the Deposit Protection Fund. Staff size has increased from 5 when the fund was operationalized in 2017 to now 47. Indeed, the fund is steadily moving in the right direction. It is for this reason that government remains committed to nurturing this vital institution to its full maturity. Despite the registered success in the past 5 years, there are some bottlenecks we ought to address to enhance the fund's performance. Notable among these, 1, putting in place an enabling regulatory environment through a standalone DPF law. 2, developing a framework to enable the DPF access funding from government in the event of financial crisis. I would like to assure you that government is committed, together with all of you, to address these issues given their strategic relevance to financial sector stability. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot refer to the importance of depositors without mentioning and recognizing the vital role of contributing institutions. The 25 commercial banks, 5 credit institutions, and 4 microfinance deposit-taking institutions regulated by Bank of Uganda. It is in order to accord them an applause for the critical function that they continue to play in ensuring the financial sector stability. The interventions and actions of DPF in enhancing depositor confidence has had a direct impact and benefit on contributing institutions, since having confidence depositors translates to more accounts and volumes of transactions, hence boosting financial inclusion. The citizenry should be consistently encouraged to move their money to the formal financial institutions. Therein lies the congenial relationship between the fund and the contributing institutions, in addition to the annual remittances made to the fund. It is therefore a pleasure that you could make time to be here to witness the commissioning of your office. Our gathering today has been the result of concerted efforts of various stakeholders, both within government, ministries, departments, and agencies, and the private sector. I wish to take this opportunity to thank all the ministries, departments, and agencies, and the financial sector players for your respective roles you have played to support the fund to where it is. I specifically appreciate the Bank of Uganda for the parenting role played by hand-holding the fund and steering it through the formative stages. To all the institutions that have collaborated with and supported the fund, I can only say thank you. Let me now turn to the staff of the fund who are very smart, especially the new team that recently joined the institution in different capacities. Congratulations for emerging top among the candidates. Your predecessors, the pioneer team of staff, were able to achieve so much in a relatively short time span and with fewer numbers. It is therefore not far-fetched to assert that with the new team in place, supported by experienced pioneer groups, we can only expect greater achievements. The ball is in your courts to carry the DPF banner high. I share the trust and confidence that the board had in selecting you for the different positions. As I commission the Deposit Protection Fund offices today, I would like to restate the challenge I gave to the board and management of the fund during the last meeting and to encourage you to work towards achieving a permanent office space of your own. This, no doubt, is a more cost-effective in the long run and comes with long-term benefits. It is pleasing to note, too, that our focus is to make the DPF the leading deposit insurance institution in the region. It is therefore my honor to officially commission the Deposit Protection Fund floor office on 3rd floor, AHA Towers, for God and my country. Signed, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Thank you for listening to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for Ladies and gentlemen, with those remarks, surely we are getting to the climax of this day, as we appreciate the fact that the exercise we subjected you to has really been sufficient. We now need to move to a wrap. And as per our program, Honorable Guest of Honor, we now go to cut the cake. All right, those are 5 years. So we will count, each of you is cutting the big middle one. That is the office that we plan to build, the one you asked us to build. It will look like that. On a count of 5 to 3. 5, 4, 3, cut.
It's our mission.
There were people expecting me to reach 0, but we have to be different. Thank you very much for that.
We pay for bank has been closed.
May I now request, Guest of Honor, sir, you may comfortably resume your seat. Chair and your board members, you are cutting next. Mr. Chairman, the Chairman and the board members, as the CEO takes our Guest of Honor back, and then the members of the Financial Sector Safety Net who are here, Insurance Regulatory Authority, UBRA, Financial Intelligence Authority, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory, please come through. Ladies and gentlemen, the next team is the group of board members whose term of office has just been extended. And since you have just got another 5 years, let's count 5 downwards. Ready? We go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Deliver. Congratulations. CEO and my guests may now join the representatives of the other financial sector players. Do we have Insurance Regulatory Authority, UBRA, FIA, the representatives? We would like to thank you for joining us on this day and all the patience. For you, we shall count 7 and stop on 4 when we're ready. 7 to 4. Ready, we go. 7, 6, 5, 4. deliver.
It's our mission to secure your money. We are responsible. We pay if a bank has been closed. Depositors' money.
Guest of honor, sir,
Protected. DPF, that's what
I have been advised that we shall make the sharing of the cake a bit informal, that we can actually formally wrap with an anthem. And with your permission, sir, this is what we propose happens. While the ladies partake of the cake and cut it, guest of honor will invite you to symbolically release some helium balloons to signify growth for the institution. Each of you, our guests, has been given a balloon. After closing